Okay, let's welcome Elizabeth Greene again on our channel. This is the second time that she is a guest here. I got really amazing feedback about this video, Elizabeth. You can also see the comments. Um, uh, I remember that we covered flat files before,
Mhm.
and that's something that not a lot of people are, using and familiar with. So, for me, when searching for info about flat files, you're the first one that popped out, and then it was really useful. And during that interview or recording, like we talked about things that maybe you didn't cover in one of the videos. I also saw that you just published a new video. I'm sorry, new post on Facebook asking like, or that you're making a new version of it. So I don't know if it's live yet or not.
Yeah, so that should be live soon. It's getting edited, hopefully by tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Filmed and the thing is up. It's actually a an update to like a segment of the process. So one of my videos that goes through how to adjust bids, I think one of the things I should mention in there, one of the issues is sometimes the cells in the max bid column will be blank, and you're like, what's my bid? How do I adjust my bid if there's no bid?
Yeah.
So you can find that. It's tedious to do it manually. You can do it manually. I had a previous process. So it was a formula I wrote for fun because I could put it out there. And unfortunately, that one, it's a little laggy because it works. If you know spreadsheet formulas, you know arrays formulas sometimes lag.
Yeah.
So I have a new updated process that is awesome. It will work in Google Sheets as well as Excel. And so that should be coming out soon.
Yeah, yeah. So I jumped a little bit to that. But for those that didn't saw the first video, if you can tell us who you are and what you're actually focusing on.
Yeah, so my name's Elizabeth Greene. I am the co-founder of an Amazon advertising agency called Jungler. So that's me in a nutshell. I find myself recently getting super deep into, I guess, data connections for data. And I think the post that triggered like you to reach out to me to come back on here was a speculation on like how do you look at data, how do you make those assumptions. And I think the deeper I get into it, the more I realize that the person who can get the best and deepest insights into like reading not just okay my ACOS is this, but what is the story behind why that's happening. Those are the people who are going to be able to make the best decisions and ultimately win when it comes to advertising.
Yeah, yeah. So if you don't mind, I want to share that quote that you wrote
Yeah,
from
go
your
ahead.
Facebook wall. So it says you wrote the best process in the world won't do anything if it isn't implemented. It's the work, not the knowledge, that gets results. Just because you know the ultimate way to do something doesn't mean that it's feasible process to implement. My humble opinion is in this new world of Amazon advertising, the ones who have accessible data displayed in a way that's easy to adjust, way will win. So basically, there is so much data, so many reports, so many new things that are coming now that you're saying that the ones that may, if I convert it like that, the simple way, that will have like a nice dashboard or a nice way of displaying things that can help you like spot things in a very fast way will win. That's basically what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that's correct. And I think that's where a lot of people, at least I myself, got into the whole world of bulk files because, like I said in the beginning, you can know that you need to do something. Okay, so if my unit per session percentage is having an issue, it means my conversion rate dropped. So therefore, I should go troubleshoot this. But sometimes, if you have very large accounts, like we work with several clothing brands, the SKU count is in the thousands. Like it's ridiculous to try and get that granularity across tons and tons, and then you multiply that times I don't know 25 accounts at this point, and it just gets so like how can we do something efficiently but still not sacrifice quality. I think that's where I'm always going to try and ride that line. So my first I guess portion was kind of speaking to that in the fact that as you begin to scale, doing best practices becomes tedious, and there's tools and there's things. I don't think bulk files are the ultimate, although I like how granular you can get with them. There's also other amazing like automation tools out there, but being able to actually do a process efficiently. And then what I said in the beginning, on kind of understanding the story behind the numbers, because you might have an ACOS spike and so you say, oh my goodness, my I need to adjust my bits because my ACOS went up and all these things are, but if you really looked into it, maybe the change was in the conversion rate. It wasn't necessarily in your cost per click. Your cost per click's the same, conversion rate went down. And that's the thing that needs to be addressed. So being able to get that insight quickly is, I think, where all of us find like attention in what we do.
For sure, for sure. And yeah, like you're totally right, like about displaying the data in a nice way or getting insights very quickly. It's very important. You mentioned something about now like the ACOS and the conversion, and like a question came to my mind because I have some campaigns that recently I have keywords that were converting for like 2 years, like amazingly, and now the ACOS jumped, and I quickly analyzed the conversion rate, and I saw that it went down, and I very confident that it's due to some PPC fraud activity or something like that. Just doesn't make sense. How you, as someone that managed 25 accounts, approach this? Because you could have an history of keywords and campaigns, and you see like everything like is the same. What happened here? And you suspect that there is a fraudulent activity. In that stage, what are your actions? What are you doing? Like what is like how you continue take it from there?
Yeah, that's difficult. So one thing is I would definitely want to establish that that was the issue, was click fraud and not just some other things, like the search terms not triggering, differences in search volume. Sometimes search volume fluctuates. Sometimes people migrate to using different keywords to search for things. And that's where like continuous keyword research comes in. But click fraud, I would determine as like steady impressions. So you obviously know that the traffic you're getting to that keyword is the same. And there's a definite spike in the clicks, a definite spike in the click-through rate. That's something you want to isolate, because if all of a sudden like someone's just like super clicking on your stuff, which Amazon does have things to detect it, although they won't always get it right. So, look for like definite correlation drop in conversion rate, increase in click-through rate with basically steady amount in the impressions, and that will help you identify that that's the problem. If you do identify that there's click fraud, you want to report it to Amazon. Don't say I saw click fraud, because they're gonna like go defensive, be like, we don't have click fraud, that doesn't happen. What you want to do is you want to say, hey, this date range in my account and the other thing you want to look for is isolated to specific keywords. So if your overall conversion rate drops on all of your products,
Yes.
like if and everything, sorry, it's not click fraud. No one's clicking on all of your keywords at the same time. But if you have it isolated to like one or two keywords, maybe some top performers, yeah, it does happen. So you would want to contact Amazon, say, hey, on XYZ dates, this campaign, this keyword, X, like weird data, I found this, here's my numbers. Can you look into it? And they'll look into it, and like 99% of the time you get a refund.
Yeah, yeah, I had lots of experience. Like I tell them like there is unusual activity and this is the data. If you just say unusual activity without backing it up by data, they will just close the case, tell you go
Yeah.
away. So yeah, it was wanted to hear what you do, man, like managing so many accounts in these cases. Another, you mentioned like you wrote this post, and another big struggle that I don't know if it's just me. I'm not managing PPC or doing anything to other accounts or anything like that, but something that I'm really passionate about too. Dealing with PPC platforms like AdWords, Facebook for many years. I think it's more than 10 years now. So it's something that I don't know, I like and enjoy. And one big thing that always struggles with is how you can track the changes and the history of things to keep everything organized. So for me, what I do now is every day I just record manually in my own words. I tried Excel, I tried like little journal, like try Word. So what I do now is just write, okay, on this today, and I have date and then like bullets. So I write Today I modified these sponsored brand campaigns, added yada yada yada, just telling in my own words what I did. So if I have to come back to it, it gives me an idea on what are the changes and what I did. But I don't know. I'm curious to know what you at Skill are doing to keep things organized. I know there are some softwares like, if I'm not wrong, Helium, like their platform giving you the history changes that you do for
Mm.
bids and stuff like that. But obviously, like it's still it's also not that organized. But I want to hear from you, like how you approach this.
Yeah, so there are some insanely amazing tools out there that give you very good granular insights on like keyword and search term level to performance changes. One that comes to mind that we talked with recently is called Revenue Wise. You literally can click a drop down and it will show you on a graph. Now, you have to have the software hookup, so it only starts tracking from when you hooked it up. I think they pull historic data, but only the changes that will show are ones that happened within whatever time you've been installed up with our software. So that stuff is absolutely amazing.
What
The
it's called?
issues,
Sorry,
it's called Revenue Wise.
revenue wise, it's
Mm-hmm.
general or it's for Amazon sellers?
It's for Amazon seller. I think they're targeting agencies. I don't know how they work with single. I think they probably allow single. Anyways, but the issue I found there, I definitely liked the software. Why we ultimately didn't go end up going in and using it was again because I would love to sit there and look at every single keyword and the changes and then make like that's the stuff I love. You're like, oh, I made this change and then impressions increase and I could see a definite correlate. Like that's awesome.
Yeah,
When you have thousands of keywords, you'll
yeah,
spend there all day. Even though I do spend all day, this is literally what I do 12 hours a day. But you can't make enough actionable impact into that. So it does get difficult. There are ways if you get scrappy with Excel, and I'm talking to some other people who can actually, you can pull reports and archive them and then keep something like you're talking about where you manually write in what you did. And then you can even manually write in other things like I changed my images, I tweaked this, I tweaked my copy, record that in a spreadsheet in correlation with the date. And there are ways to display that on a graph.
oh,
Have the sheet or whatever it is, you can use macros, correlate that. So there are options to build stuff like that out. It's kind of interesting. But I think the other thing that I'm looking at doing, that we are doing in some form and fashion, is what are the snapshot insights that I can get into problem areas in my account that where I know that I need to go and dig deeper. I think that's going to be the best way, especially when you start scaling, to have some sort of readout. This is all right. This is what requires my immediate attention, and then you can go in and dig into that campaign. You can dig into the portfolio. You can dig into the products, and you've identified like the places where you need to go digging versus trying to look at everything all the time.
yeah.
At some point, you just kind of burn out and don't end up managing as effectively as you could.
Yeah, yeah. Once you release that, maybe you should offer this to the public.
I'll have
And
to give you the guy's name. He's got some really interesting tools he's creating.
okay, yeah, I would love to. What is your strategy keeping things organized? I'm not talking about history, but as far as like PPC like campaign structure, account structure, we all know that a good PPC account, it's an account that is well organized and everything is in structure because obviously it saves you time, you're more productive, you're more efficient rather than just having campaigns all over that you don't even know what's going on, which ASINs are targeted and what kind of campaign is that. And I see that a lot with people that I help with, not necessarily like only on PPC, but sometimes I look at their accounts and I see like it's a complete mess. I'm not gonna say that I'm like the most organized guy, but I try to keep everything in a structure. I think in your profession, what you do, it needs to be like super organized. How you organize your accounts and look at it.
Yeah. So the way we have to do it is every client gets their own Google Drive. That's just where we archive everything. We use Google a lot just because it works better for collaborating with the team. That does create an issue if you have very large. I mean, some of our accounts you can't even open the sheets in Google. It'll break down, so you got to use Excel. But as far as archiving and storing data, Google Sheets is definitely pretty cool, and you can do some very cool connectivity with inside of Google that makes it, I think, really well used. Let's see. So I would start off with some sort of hub. This is what we use for all clients. It's called like our product sheet. It's on version 5 now, maybe. I don't know how many times I've revamped it and bettered it and made it more efficient. But honestly, at its core is all of the products we're advertising, the SKUs associated with them, the ASINs associated with them, our internal naming system associated with that particular product. And then the portfolio we're storing that in. And that allows anyone in the entire account to go in and say, all right, I got to advertise this product. I don't have to say, hey, it's this ASIN. No, it's like, all right, this is this type of product. Go pull it, go do it. It's all right there. Now there's a lot of stuff built around that now. I mean, like I said, we keep adding, like for instance, we just added a drop down. So I can literally go into a drop down menu, select the particular product group and get a list of every single campaign and ad group that particular product is located in. So we have other things like that allow us just again, deep insights. That's what I wanted. I'm like, I have this particular product. What have I done to it? Where is it? Let me go find it. And now, that was, I think our most recent update was a way to like get insights into stuff like that. So there are some pretty cool things you can do, but I would say, yeah, I think at its core is just keeping like, this is what I have, this is what I need to do, this is what I've done. And then as long as you kind of have that, it could be as simple as I have these ASINs and I have these in a column and I'm just going to on this row enter all of the campaigns I've launched for them. It can be as simple as that. You don't have to make it complex, honestly. I think if you start with the core of it being simple, then as you can add the pieces that you need instead of adding all the pieces and realizing that, oh, I built way more than I needed and I'm never going to use that. Been there, done that.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. What about like the actual naming of the campaigns? What do you suggest to, sellers that don't have ton of SKUs, maybe like 10, 15 SKUs to name their campaigns so they can find easily like and get their around Seller Central advertising platform easily.
Yes. So I will tell you what we do, and then I'll also kind of give you like a lazy man's hack into segmenting if like your campaign name structure is garbage and it's everywhere and you're like, I don't know what I need to do. Um, so we do a lot of portfolio sorting. Now, if you have like hundreds of like, thousands of ASINs, I wouldn't go creating a portfolio for every single one of them. It'll get kind of insane. But if you only have like, say, like 4 main listings. So we group by listing. That's how we choose to view it internally. I know some people split out by individual SKUs, individual child ASINs. The way we chosen to view it is at a listing level, and that's the reason is that the ranking is determined on a listing level. You can't have multiple ASINs on a single listing showing up somewhere. So we've chosen just to like group it that way, say this listing is getting this. Again, deep dives are always good if something's burning down, but for the most part, I think, the more you can space out while still seeing what's going on, I like that approach. So what I would do is I would just create a portfolio for like each listing you have and just put everything in that portfolio. That way, when you click on that portfolio, you say, oh, this is what all the campaigns for this particular product are doing. The campaign name structure doesn't have to be right. You could have one campaign name auto. And as long as it's in that portfolio, it's associated with that product. I would still go and rename that. You want a better naming structure than auto, but it gets the job done. It's quick and dirty in the beginning. And then you can start working through those portfolios and, renaming, because as of right now, there are external tools that will allow you to rename campaigns. You still got to click into them. You still got to type it out. So honestly, Campaign Manager is probably as good as anything. You can't rename with bulk files. I wish you could. You can't. Someday they'll give us that option and it'll make my life so much easier. But as far as the naming structure, I can tell you what we use. So what we do is we put a product identifier, for instance, If you are advertising a ball, we're just going to put ball, maybe a little bit more descriptive like that than if you have 20 different kinds of balls, and we'll put basketball, soccer ball, blue soccer ball, that type of thing. And the theory behind that is that anyone can get into the account and see that this is a soccer ball. Like, I don't have to go tell them that, PX260 means this. Now we do have clients that come in with a naming structure that they're already using that's very uniform. If that's the case, we'll simply adopt what they have. We might add a slight tag or something onto it just to make it clear. We try and get as descriptive to the product so we can understand what the product is without making it 20 sentences long. So you don't want to do the title or anything. And then the next thing we place is going to be what the
campaign type.
So the ad type, SP, SB, SD, SBV, and then we put the match type, because we do split out campaigns based on whatever match type. So for instance, if I'm launching a sponsored product exact match campaign, SPE. So the very first snapshot, I can say it's this product, sponsored products, exact match. I know exactly what that is. Now the last half of the naming structure is to identify what the where we got the keywords and the strategy behind the keywords. For instance, if I go in and I say it's a ranking campaign, we got the keywords from Helium 10. Okay, so these are keywords we're testing. It's ranking, ACOS is high. Sales are low. Okay, I better go troubleshoot that because it's ranking campaign. Versus if I see something with LB that's low bid, we're not expecting anything out of it. Cool if we get something. If we don't, we're not. It's not the end of the world. So I'm okay with low impressions. I see STR. I know it's a search term report. These are keywords we've already proven. Why are there no impressions on that? Did we put the wrong bids to start? Okay, so let's go. So that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of us preach good naming structures, is because it helps you identify what's going on. If you see you in the campaign, you go auto, you're wait, okay, so what was I actually advertising here? Did I put high bids on the auto? Was it low? Is it a catch-all campaign? So you got to go look in the ad. Oh, wait, these are the products I had in here. Oh, this is what I did with this. This was only close match. Okay, this is, maybe that's not. And then, you start rabbit trailing to try and figure out what's even the campaign is before you can even go figure out what to do about it. So just by having good naming structure, it cuts out a lot of the upfront work.
Yeah. I actually lost a lot of money because the wrong naming. So I would add things that I wouldn't really understand just by looking at them quick, and then by not really realizing what is the type of campaign or the really the goal of the campaign. I wouldn't really optimize it that frequently like I'm supposed to do. And because of that, I lost money. So it's super important to keep things organized, because if you see say the goal is ACOS under 40, and then you quickly look there and you see it's 70, it will make you take action faster, I guess. So that's why I asked about the structure of the account and how organized it is. As a PPC expert and someone seeing ton of accounts, what are your top three wasters in Amazon PPC, you would say?
Wasters definitely is going to be clicks and no sales. I think everyone preaches that, but clicks and no sales, because you got nothing for it. If you're advertising a top keyword and you're my ACOS is over 100%. If you're getting a lot of sales, no, it's not profitable. It's not great, but at least you're ranking. Hopefully you're ranking. You should be tracking it. See if you're ranking, make sure it makes sense to do that. But if you're getting a bunch of clicks and no sales, you're not getting anything from that. You're getting visibility for whatever that's worth. But if you have no upside on the back end, it's not really worth it. So I would go and look at those bonus points. There is a targeting tab now, so you can look across your entire account, all of your targets. Point on this is it only covers sponsored products, but it does cover sponsored display, which is a pain in the butt to optimize. So you can view those inside the targeting tab. Hopefully they'll eventually give us brand targets. I don't know why we don't have those, but what you can do is you can go in there, you can look at lifetime. So you can go lifetime, zero orders, sort by clicks, and you can see what got the most clicks in your account and no sales. I would analyze the current bid versus what your like cost per click is and see like, is this something I actually dropped, or has this just been spinning its wheels and like wasting money? That'll get, if you haven't done like any optimizing in your account, that's going to get rid of a bunch of stuff probably. So that's a good place to check. But yeah, I would say one is definitely that. Two, a big waster that kind of sneaks in sometimes is going after top keywords in the beginning for like new sellers. Now, if you have like a lot of budget to throw behind it, maybe you have like an amazing account and you're like, all right, I have a lot of budget allocated, I'm fine with going after the top keywords. As long as you know what you're getting yourself into, like you could be okay. But for like the average person just starting up PPC, you're not really sure what you're doing. Most people will go and they'll reverse ACE search top competitors. What are they ranking for? Let's use these. That's great. We use it. I mean, I just used it this afternoon. It's a wonderful keyword research method, but you do want to go about it logically and like understand what you're doing. So if you target like the top keywords, and when I say top, like a lot of search volume, there's some keywords on Amazon that have like over hundreds of thousands of search volume. If you're coming in with no reviews and maybe like 50 cents less than your top competitor, you're not going to rank on those. You're probably going to get a lot of clicks, no sales, or your ACOS is going to be like insane. And you're just going to end up like spending a lot of money. Do not go after those keywords. If you have low budgets, if you have like, I have $20 a day to spend, don't start there. I would always recommend starting with prioritize relevancy, not search volume in the beginning, and figure out keywords that you think you can win. Ones that you can win. A lot of the things that Amazon prioritizes when it comes to ranking is sales velocity. That's not all that goes into the equation, but that's like a big chunk of it. So if you can get a lot of sales through a particular keyword, you should start ranking for that. Again, track what you're doing. But so find those things that you think you can get good sales on. You know, like if you have a differentiator, that you have a keyword that speaks exactly to that differentiation. For instance, if you have a water bottle that has a rubber sleeve, and you can find something that says pink water bottle rubber sleeve with good search volume on it, like go after that one. So I'm trying to think what the third biggest waster would be. It kind of goes back to bids, but just not optimizing frequently, just letting stuff run. You do want to give things enough like time to actually get data. You always hear like, oh, I'm waiting for data. If I've got 50 clicks and no sales in the first 4 days, it's probably enough data at least to start turning it down. I'm not saying pause it. I'm not saying go and add a negative keyword. I'm not saying nuke the account, but like you're probably got enough data to do at least make some tweaks. I'm not saying go in every 4 days. I'm not saying like you have to be super like vigilant with everything. You do want to give things time, but I'm not saying like, oh, in 1 month we'll worry about optimizing. No, you know, go check it at least after 3 days. Check, poke around, maybe don't change anything. Just know what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe for me, negatives also recently, like I've been really
Yes.
aggressive with my auto campaigns.
Yeah.
And, you know, in order not to waste a lot of money, I'm really, first of all, before creating the campaigns, I'm making sure that I'm doing a research and finding those keywords that might pop out and you know, triggered by the auto campaign and adding them. But still, it's not bulletproof, and you have to
Yeah.
really be like on top of the search term report, making sure that you're not getting those one words, keywords, pay $3, $4, you know, per
Yeah.
click, which is not really relevant, and it creates a lot of you know, wasting in the account. So that's what.
Yeah. That's another good one. I should have said that one. Darn it.
Yeah. um okay, great. So I want to keep it short. There was a lot of data to people to digest
Sorry.
and understand, and maybe for us it's you know, it's like a natural conversation, but many people like struggle with PPC, and especially like you say, taking action in a way that will not really like, first of all, will be quick, organized, and that will not really connect with other changes that you did. It's super important. Like, it's something that I also struggle with a lot. And really wanted to thank you being a guest here again in the channel. And for those of the listeners and viewers that are watching this, that want to contact you and want you know, potentially hire you, how they can find out about, you know, where are you and what is your website
Yeah.
or agency?
Yeah, so the best place to contact me would be just our website, jungler.com, JUNGLR. There's an intake form at the bottom, fill out a couple questions. I'm still in charge of like looking over the intakes and everything. So you will get in touch with me personally. And then we'll just see, talk with you, see how we can help.
Yeah, for sure. Contact her if you need a good PPC agency, because I'm sure that very soon she won't accept any more customers, hopefully. So yeah,
I have help now. I have help. I couldn't do what I'm doing without help. That's for sure.
yeah, I'm sure. So you're doing like an amazing job. I follow you on social media, and people that want to follow you, do you have like a YouTube? Do you have a YouTube channel, right? The Jungler?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we have a YouTube channel. I think it's Jungler LLC because I think Jungler was taken or something.
Okay.
So that's on there. And then I post on Facebook. I'm more active on LinkedIn as far as posting content, I think. I'm trying to be better about carrying that over to Facebook, but I'm more active, I think, on LinkedIn in these days.
Okay, great. Thank you again, Elizabeth, and good luck in Q4.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you.